How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. When you hear about early retirement, it seems like everybody wants to do it. You work towards it, and then when you finally hit it, you didn't realize that it could affect your health and affect your life expectancy. When people retire, it seems like their health trickles down. It takes maybe like 5 to 10 years or so, but it happens. And eventually, right after they retire, maybe they do everything that they want, but eventually they die off. I can't really speak to any scientific data regarding this, but I can tell you my own personal experience retiring early. This video is brought to you by Moomoo, the free stock trading app. You can get 15 free shares of stock just for signing up and depositing various amounts of money. Check out my referral link down below and you can help out this channel. When you retire early, I'd say the most important aspect is that you have something to retire to. You need a lot of hobbies. Think about if work takes up your entire life and all of a sudden you take a week off. By the end of 1 week, you are just completely bored. You just want to go back to work. If that is you, you probably will have a hard time retiring early. You're gonna get bored in retirement, and this can negatively impact your life expectancy. To analyze this properly, we want to look at typical life expectancies, right? What aspects of a person's lifestyle will give them the longest life? You don't only want the longest life, you also want a long, healthy life, right? You don't want to be sick, bedridden the last 20 years of your life and just, do nothing. And that's just a miserable way to pass years of your life. You want to be up, standing, healthy, running around, going vacation, do all kinds of stuff that you want to do. You want to avoid the major causes of death. So here they are. Leading causes of death in 2020. 696,000 died from heart disease just in 2020. 602,000 died from cancer. 350,000 died from COVID. If you want to protect against this, you want to take precautionary measures. Accidents, 200K. 160,000 is stroke, which is really the same thing as heart disease to me. It's the heart disease of the brain. You look at all of this, it's like, okay, heart disease. Okay, what prevents heart disease? You can eat healthier, or cancer. Maybe you can eat healthier, have a healthier lifestyle, you avoid things that are cancerous. Accidents, you can do things to prevent accidents, but none of this ever talks about psychological effects that leads you to get one of these diseases, right? Maybe you are depressed, and then you start eating a lot that causes the heart disease, that causes the cancer, or maybe there's a psychological factor, you feel bored or something, so you end up doing something more dangerous, which causes the accidents. You look at the life expectancy in the United States, it's 77 years old. But then if you look at in Hong Kong or like in Asia, you can expect to live 85 years. Wow, a whole 7 years longer than people in the US. So what's the difference? What's the difference between Hong Kong and the United States? I thought about if you're living in a major city, there's going to be more air pollution. Therefore, if you live in Hong Kong, you probably would live a shorter life, right? Because there's more air pollution is going to cause you to die. But if you really think about it, maybe in Hong Kong, in a denser city, there's more community for older folks. You see old people, they gather around a lot more than I see over here in the States. They like play chess or whatnot in the park. They do like Tai Chi in a big group in a park. So my guess here would be there's more community things to do as an older person in Hong Kong. You can also glean some information off of the TED Talks. Here's one of them from Susan Pinker. Secret to life may be your social life. So yeah, that makes sense. They like to point out that people in Okinawa live to about 80 for men and 87 for women. So they go and analyze what the heck they're doing. It could be their diets. They eat a bunch of purple potatoes. They eat 80% full. Other analysis of life expectancy might point to ikigai, which is a strong sense of purpose. And I actually really like this. Personally, I think this is the most important factor in life expectancy. Probably more than your diet, more than running all the time, which is really painful. You have to put a lot of work into it, into exercising. I like it so much that when I went to this one restaurant, it is called ikigai. I'm like, oh, let me keep this, right? It's to remind me that you really need a strong sense of purpose, something to do, something that will wake you up in the morning, something that you want to do every single day. So that's your purpose. An Italian village called Asiaroli, 100 of the 300 residents are over 100 years old. They eat anchovies and rosemary daily. They have a lot of leisure time, so you minimize your stress levels. So when you retire early, I'd say your stress level goes way down, but this might be offset by a sort of social isolation if you retire early because you're this strange animal. When you go out during the week, you're not going to have other people to hang out with. So you have to actually try to make friends that are also retired early or just people that have the same mentality. In other articles where they point out to like it's very hilly in their Italian village or European village, so they exercise daily. They have to walk up the hill. They're forced to do that, so therefore they live longer. Okay, so what is it, right? Is it the diet? Is it the community that they have? Is it the constant exercise? Which is it that makes them live longer? Sometimes when people are sort of bedridden, they're sick, they lose their will to live, kind of like in a hospital, right? And you hear of those instances where they're struggling on like just a string and finally they've stayed alive long enough to hear certain things, to have something happen. They can finally rest easy and they go, oh, okay, I can finally die in peace. And I guess then that gives up their will to live and then they croak. I'd say retiring early means you no longer have a steady job, and the job is usually a major identity for many people. If you remove that, then you are no longer yourself. So before you actually retire early, quit your job, you need a separate identity. You need to build that before you actually quit. If you have hobbies, that's great, but I do not think hobbies can take up, your full-time work worth of time, because normally when people have hobbies, it's only maybe one day of the week or less that they spend that time on it. So think about it this way. You need like 5 or 6 hobbies, 5 or 6 different hobbies in order to take up enough time. So there's significant time after you stop working to spend on whatever you want. And you have to have a plan to do this to keep your purpose of life and keep your will to live going so as to not affect your life expectancy if you retire early. I hope this video gives some insights for you guys that are looking to retire early. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more.